Hey there, welcome to the channel. This is Studio Visitor, the place where we talk about gear, philosophy and history. In this episode, I got the invitation of Tim and Christoph, two really great guys that run their own studio, the Lullabye Factory. Based in Amsterdam in the Netherlands, they're strictly based on Analogue, and it was a really quite fun time I had with them. Interesting stories, great details about a unique workflow in the time of modern age. My name is David Jones, I'm a studio visitor. This is yet another day, another story to tell. Let's make it happen. Hi there, welcome to the channel. Next to me is Chris from the Lullabye Factory. Thank you for the hospitality to having us there.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
It's an incredible space you got there. I don't see that much.
No?
No.
Why don't you see much?
No, because of the vintage look and the way you were approaching your studio. It's all analog, tell me.
It is. It surely is. Yes. Well, what can I say? I like the real sound of things, and I like the real feel of things. So little by little, I started to get more into analog workflow and into analog gear. Hence all the tape machines and all the buttons. But as many guys my age, I started out digital back in the day with a MacBook and an Apogee interface. But and to this day, I still don't get how people can actually work with all the issues that accompany a setup like that. Maybe I did it wrong. I have no idea. It was like more than 10 years ago, so I guess it was harder back then to make it work.
A lot has changed.
Exactly. But like the latency stuff and all the software updates and
this issue.
Oh my days. So, I was busy more, cursing at the digital equipment, then I was busy making music. So then I'm like, okay, cool, I have to change something. So at first I went into the all-in-one digital recorders. So I dropped the computer, but
okay. But what kind of recorders are you talking about?
I'm talking the Zoom R16, the very basic 16 track, the white one, which is great, SD card, and you could even connect it to the computer, which I never did. So that was marvelous. And I bought an Akai DPS 24 pretty quickly afterwards. And that was, yes, it is. It's from around 2000, I believe, a semi-pro machine. Hard disk recorder, built-in CD-ROM drive, all the bells and whistles for its day and age. And I really like that one. It even had flying faders, although I did not really care for them, and I still don't, because I like things to move once I touch them. Then I started this studio, built a live room where we're gonna have a look later, obviously. And then my beloved Akai DPS 24 came with me. Was sitting on the desk right around the corner.
Was a divorce going on?
Oh, no divorce, no marriage, no divorce. So I have a beautiful son. In fact, it's his birthday today. He's turning 50. Thank you. And there's a second one on the way. But it's, it's semi-related, I suppose.
Nice telling you.
Yeah, and then rather quickly, like within a year of starting this studio, which was more of a project studio at the time, and also rehearsal space for my band, and just to record some demos and have some fun, I bought the DNR Orion. Great find on Marktplaats, what can I say? Because back then obviously I did not know what I know now. And even to this day, it turns out that it was a great purchase.
At the time it was released by Duco, it was an incredible desk, and it still is an incredible desk. I mean, sound quality, you don't find this not either in a digital plugin, but also not another console with sound like this.
True. Apparently, it's one of the quietest consoles that ever were made. It's very simplistic in its design. very minimalistic in the parts that are being used, as to not taint the sound whatsoever. So, and you know, that's also what you could consider is the benefit, but also maybe the drawback of the console, that it is so clean. But for me, it turned out to be a match made in heaven, because I really love to keep my sound clean until I don't want it to be clean.
Yeah, sure.
And I have plenty of, you know,
Stuff that can make noise.
exactly, of colorful add-ons, and even like the recording medium that we use here is, of course, American classic FET sound. So it turned out to be a great buy. Then I learned rather quickly that I needed at least the money I just spent on the console to be able to wire it up. So I had to take out another load.
The maintenance of this thing, did you buy it clean to go? You could work with it?
Yeah, because this console is actually, it's quite new. It was made in the mid-90s. It was one of the last consoles that they made.
One of the last Analogue series.
Studio consoles, at least. I mean, I believe they still make the radio stuff.
Only digital stuff.
Okay. Well, anyway, so, you know, there was literally nothing wrong with it. You know? And over time, yeah, before I had the air conditioners in here, it used to get really, really hot here during the summer and really, really cold during the winter. So at one point I did upgrade, fix the power supply. Apparently some issues I had back in the day.
That's a common feature of every product.
Yeah. But it's funny, that's also how you learn to troubleshoot, I suppose, because at first you're like, oh, I got some crackling noises, it must be an IC chip or whatever. And then it just turns out to be, you know, a connection in the power supply that's causing you trouble someplace else.
Basic rule of any electronic maintenance, start at the power supply.
Exactly.
At the mains. Exactly. And then you start measuring and you go build up.
Exactly. I learned the hard way. Well, haven't we all?
As long as you learned.
Exactly. So, no, really, still really happy with this one. And don't they say it's like the Dutch SSL? I think it's sort of in the ballpark. It's just, you know, a lot cleaner and more reliable. I think the SSL, because whenever I'm looking at YouTube video of guys who bought SSLs,
to be honest, I worked on SSL 4000, A and G. I really like, I love that sound. But the desk, yeah, it's too comprehensive for an ordinary guy like.
Yeah, it's really it's double layered in the module as well, and like, wow, this is just a dream, because yeah, I take it out and, you know, you can just see what's happening, and there's very little to nothing wrong with it. And if there is, I have it fixed within hours. Yeah.
I see some VU, classic VU.
Yes, so that's something that at one point in time I did start to miss, not having VU meters on the desk, because, well, I don't have to explain this to you, but yeah, the ppm meters do give you a different reading of the music, right? And apparently the VU meter is a lot more. It shows the music more as you hear it, or at least the loudness and the, you know, how the attack and the constant volume relation is.
You know, this is the first studio I'm at that doesn't care for LuFs because it's not here.
True.
Nothing is digital.
No, true. This is true. But yeah, then still you can see, of course, the dynamic relation of your content, and the crest factor and stuff like that. I got very used to seeing VU meters, obviously with the recorder, with the Ampex. So at one point, I thought it would be really nice to at least have the master stereo out, you know, on the to be able to watch it on the VU meters. And when I bought the Crane song, and it's like a no-brainer, because you can just put it on the buffered output, and every input I select here comes back on the VU meter. So that's really helpful. Plus it looks super cool, and it's very easy to use in different situations because of the attenuation knob on there as well. So yeah, that's it. It's Japanese. Well, Hayafumo.
Oh, yeah, also Japanese are the famous NS stands.
This is very true, yes. I mean, no studio can consider itself to be a studio without the NS stands. Maybe these days, yes, but But studios like this with a big analog console and a tape deck and a Shure A80, I mean, yeah, it's
a necessity.
It's a necessity indeed. Yes, love the look. I gotta say, I do like the sound too in a way, but that's more of a workman's how do you say, the workflow mindset. They can be, as you say, you know, the magic is in the mid-range. They can be really helpful discerning what's going on in your mid-range. And also your low end, if it's on par, you know, with the mid-range, if the combination of or where the mid-range hits the low end, it can be really nice to zoom that in.
We get you a real good idea of where the separation is taking place at.
Exactly. So for that, it's really helpful. They look super dope. And I think they match really well with the BMWs, which are, of course, full range. Also for the sweet spot, you know, if you're mixing here at the desk, then you get a better sweet spot from the NS10s because they're more nerve field oriented, right? And for the BMWs, it's usually, of course, better if you sit a bit more in the middle and
even on the couch.
Even on the couch, exactly. So it's nice to be able to switch in between both of them. Maybe a second, you know, like a third set, maybe a mono Aventone at one point could be cool. But yeah, this is it.
Moving over to the rack, I see a Manley stereo compressor. Tell us about it.
Yes, life has never been the same. What can I say? I mean, you know, obviously I started out with the other compressors. Can I start with this one? This is like, then we do the chronological buying spree or history of me. Because yeah, this is a FET compressor, the LA Audio 4x4.
FET?
Yeah, FET.
Yeah,
exactly. So it's, you know, 76-ish in that sense. And it's great. First compressor I ever bought, has a great gate. I still use it a lot, almost on every mix. And then I bought the drummer, which is VCA, which is really nice. You can get great deals secondhand on that thing. Yeah, man. They still make it new as well. It's not even cheap, so it's a great compressor, I have to say. But yeah, last year or so, I mean, the Manley hasn't been in the rack for that long. I finally got the opportunity to buy one, and it's my first tube compressor. And what can you say? It's a valuable new. It's a classic, and what's really nice is, of course, that it's so versatile. You can use it during tracking. You can use it on freaking anything.
Cubase, drum bass.
Yes, and we use it for mixing, you know, as well. A lot of times when we mix down onto the 2-track tape deck, the mix goes through the Manley just to sweeten it up a bit. And also, you know, if afterwards you start compressing, you get the tape noise up more as well. So we try to compress a bit on the way to tape already. And it's just very versatile. The limit function is great. The compress function is also marvelous. You can really like slam it and it becomes epic. But you can also just use it to sweeten.
Without the artifact of traditional compression. You can slam it without the...
Yeah, because I mean, you hear it compressing in a way, but it's not in the, you know, the sibilances or the high end doesn't get nasty, or you don't get that kind of attacky nastiness that you get with different compressors.
It really is an awesome machine.
Yeah.
But if you pay for it, it's a steal.
It is, for sure. It's not going to go anywhere. So it's easily serviceable too, actually. Yeah. It's just 2 screws on top, bomb, and you can see it laid out as well. And I know, you know, I assembled the Pultec clones and the SSL type of bus compressor. I assembled them myself, so I know a bit how gear works from the inside. So I could also really appreciate the workmanship that was on there.
First time I built a SSL bus compressor, I was like, oh man, this is like Lego for adults.
Yeah, it is. For sure.
Yeah. You know the difference between an adult and a child?
No.
The main difference? Price tag of the toys.
Fair enough. Yeah, then bought the Pultecs, the clones. Well, you know Colin from Audio Maintenance Content.
Yeah. He does great
yeah.
stuff.
And these things, like, and I tell this to anyone who's thinking of building or assembling their own gear, start with one of these, or maybe like a 500 series, simple stuff. But the beautiful thing about these is it was step by step. It was easier than an IKEA manual. Like, it was crazy. Even I could do it in one day, 2 of those things. And I felt so proud of myself after finishing it. And they worked right away. And it was like amazing. I'm like, what? I made this. It sounds awesome. It's got tubes in it. I didn't shock myself. It was great. So, yeah.
Myself.
Yeah? No.
With an LTV tube. My arm was like 3 days standing still.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I was being really, how can I put this? Like I wanted it to be as true to the original bus compressor as possible. So, and we already talked about that a bit earlier. I did the turbo mod is what they call it these days, which is weird because it used to be standard. I did not build in a high pass filter in at the start because I'm like, they didn't have it either, so I don't want it. But to be honest, not too long ago, I was like, okay, you know what? It could be nice to to put like a high pass filter in the sidechain. So I just put this one in. And
I really like mine because it changed the way the bus compressor reacts.
pretty sure.
You can skip the low content.
Yeah. True.
Or for a much more gradual compression.
Yes. No, it is really helpful. It opens up the sound a lot.
Yeah, sure.
Especially, on the mix bus and stuff like that. Because like on the drum bus, it can be nice to switch it off. So you get more of the pumpingness, if the kick hits, then the cymbals start to wash your way, and it can be like, ooh, yes, I love the sound.
TK Eliza, what's that?
Yeah, that's just a very, it's a Bexano EQ. And it's very precise. It's very modern in that sense as well. It's extremely usable. It even has an MS function, right? So that's great. If you,
a lot?
Well, yeah, maybe not a lot, but yes, I do it sometimes when we're doing mastering stuff, and you have some hip hop going on, and people like, for example, if you just push the highs of the sides a touch or something like that, to get the
stereo side to cut the low end to make it more now.
Exactly, that's what you also can do with this if you're mastering for vinyl.
Yeah.
Although it's debatable as to how much you should do that, and I have been talking to the final cutting guy Dinos from Record Industry, and he's like, actually, you don't really need to do that because it's our job to make sure. And I mean, the thing I use it the most for though is to adjust stereo mix here and there a touch, touch more of the mid range or the upper mid range or the highs or a bit less of the highs, and of course the low cut, which is really exact and precise and has a lot of different steps, so you can really it helps you to get the low end exactly where you want it. So
what's on top of the rack? Sun effects.
Oh yeah, that was also a game changer. These things get don't get the credit they deserve, I suppose. But if you are, and I could talk to you days about this subject, obviously. Let's keep it short. If you want to go from unbalanced -10 to +4 balanced, there's a lot of stuff involved, especially if you want your grounding to stay consistent and your level to not be overloaded, etc., and your noise floor, and just all those things come together. So basically what these are just -10 unbalanced to +4 and the other way back converters, and I have them grounded to the same audio ground.
These boxes are actually meant for broadcast, but why shouldn't they be used in any music studio there is around?
Exactly. No, but I mean, they're great. I mean, because I love these delays, they're BBDs, Bucket Brigade delays, and I love those. I mean, I had some tape delays as well, but the dyno cords, oh my days, you can keep changing the loop you're on the here. Oh my days. If I want tape delay, I use one of the tape machines, just put it on 7.5 IPS, so you have a nice slow tape delay, use it like that. And then if we want to time the delay in sync, I put the output of a tape of the tape machine through the BBD to fine tune when it comes back, and then I have a time delay, analog delay for mixing. You can also, of course, get the nice slapback sounds on your vocals even like the Phil Collins-esque, you know, like reverb delay kind of stuff you can get.
Phil Collins was really inventive with these kind of methods.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
In the air tonight, who did it?
No, yeah, especially that. So, yeah, I like that approach a lot, and that's actually, well, besides the plate reverb, we have an EMT 140. That's sort of all we use.
Number 2 is number Tim. Tim, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Great having you here.
Yeah, thank you for your hospitality also.
Amazing.
A really amazing place it's all about gear. But it's not only about the gear, it's also what you do with the gear.
For sure, yeah. Since we're all analog, it's really performance-based. So yeah, this is where most of the magic happens, the live room.
Yeah.
Musically, yeah, we want to have the attention in the performance because we cannot edit afterwards, right?
No.
So yeah, technically.
The recordings that you do, is it all one take and it has to be perfect?
Not necessarily so, no, it is not. But
you do overdubs.
Yeah, we do overdubs, but most of the time it's all about the purpose, I feel. Some bands perform best when they all play together. Then you have the more interlocking style, yeah, coherency. And some productions, it's more beneficial to separate, right?
Yeah.
To have more power in editing afterwards as well, processing.
The synergy and cohesiveness, what's the hard part of that?
Well, that's mainly human-based, I feel. Yeah. Like getting all minds together and yeah, focusing on that performance, getting the best performance out of musicians. That's mostly then the biggest role we have.
You got specific tricks for that, or you don't want?
Well, not necessarily. I mean, yeah, it's all psychologically. Yeah, well, getting the room nice, you know, having nice lights, talking to the guys, having all minds coming together, having the purpose really clear. You know, so most of the weight in our process is even before we put on the mics.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's basically it. It's all about music, right? Which music is
at the end of the time. It's all about music.
And that's why it's really nice that we're with the two of us. Then in the process, one can be more into these kind of things, more musically attention, and then the other has some more how to say, technical aspects.
As you were mentioning microphones, I see beautiful.
For sure, the Neumann, yeah, it's a classic.
Crown of the collection, or?
Well, not. I don't think so. It's a cool thing to have, and it's very universal. But I feel like the Soyuz mic is one of our main beauties. It's handmade, still really new. We find it really important to be hi-fi, really have the best sound possible, so we don't want to fuck around with vintage mics too much.
But do you know about the diaphragm? What do you know about the diaphragm?
Not much actually. I mean, it's a large membrane condenser.
Yeah.
Yeah, a classic, just an all-round mic. It sounds a bit naturally compressed.
What do you use?
In a sense. You can use it for anything. I feel we've used it even for bass amps and the kick. It's really versatile. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but of course, like a vocal take. Yeah, impeccable. Yeah.
I see a typical setup of microphones. What can you tell us about?
Sure. Yeah, we were just recording a drum take earlier. Right now we have a really basic setup. For us, less is more. So we don't want to put out all microphones before having a purpose. It's better to just grab a few and then place them really well. Right now we see a Glyn John setup. So one mic on top, which catches the whole kit.
Yeah.
And then one on the right hand of the drummer. Or
bottom snare?
Not at all, no. Just kick, snare and two overheads, which will do the trick perfectly fine. Yeah, it's all about placement.
Yeah.
Also, like acoustically, this room is this is kind of the dead end of the room.
I see, because it's free to.
Exactly. Yeah. We want to let it live, but controlled. Controlled. Yeah. And then we don't have to go all out on microphones necessarily. It's all about the purpose.
It's all about
again. Yeah. The kit is really nice. It's an Allbirds Pearl set, Phil Collins' favorite. Sounds amazing. The tape works well for it as well.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. I can imagine.
The harmonization on it is really cool.
Was that one of the main reasons to have a kit like this, or?
Well, we were searching for a nice in-house kit. Most of the drummers we have recording over here, they bring their own kit because it's really part of their identity, part of their sound.
Yeah, sure.
So we want to have like an all-round kit over here. Yeah, which does the trick most of the times. Yeah, a lot of drummers don't even bring their kit anymore because it sounds that good.
It's one-time opportunity for bringing them damn kit and they say, I'm fine with it.
It's good, yeah. It's good as is, yeah.
How do you maintain this? Not a lot of maintenance?
Not a lot, yeah. I mean, like it gets tuned for every session. Yeah, it's about the purpose again. I mean, yeah, different vibe, different tuning, which is really important. Same goes for this. Before we even put on the mic, we want in the room to have it sound as good as is, right?
The mics, how they do they return to the mixer or to the tape?
Well, all the inputs we have, like we have direct lines with going to the DNR Orion, to the console. So yeah, we have them come in. The preamps of the console are really amazing. We don't actually use anything else nowadays. So yeah, it's really straightforward process. Straightforward.
Is there anything you want to specific mention about this room?
That it feels great. And that's what you need to get a great performance out of the people, right?
Even though it's tight,
it's tight, it's tiny, but still, sometimes we had session of like 8-9 people here.
Really?
Yeah, even yeah, with brass and anything, trombones. So it's all about the vibe in the end.
Ampex.
Yes.
I see a lot of classic view meters, some cartridges inside. Tell us all about it.
This is an MM1000, and this was actually the first mass-produced 16-track tape recorder that they've made. It's from the late 60s. Jimi Hendrix had one in his Electric Ladyland studios. Yes, Elton John used to work with one of these. Up until, you know, in the early 70s when the 24-track became a standard in the studios, this was a staple, you know. It's actually basically a 16-track version of the 440, you know, the Ampex 440, which of course they had mono, stereo, 4 and 8 track at one point. And what they did with this one was really special because they already had a 2-inch transport. It was not from their music recorders, but from their VHS-like type recorders. It wasn't called VHS, obviously, but the quad, the Ampex, the video, quad video system, that used 2-inch reels, and that was used already in, I believe, late 50s already, in the CBS TV recording studios, etc. So they had a 2-inch transport system from this TV division, that from the movie, television, and then they were like, okay, so what if we take that transport and basically, you know, build a 16-track headstock instead of an 8-track 1-inch, a 16-track 2-inch, and then just make the music tape into 2-inch. Boom, we have ourselves a 2-inch 16-track recorder, and that's what they did, and that's also what makes it so stable, because it is actually the transport is really stable.
More than stable than the 24?
Well, I don't know. It depends on the brand, of course. But because in if you work with image on tape, you cannot have any one flutter whatsoever, because your image will shift. You know, it's even more important with image than with sound, because to some extent it can sound music going away.
Less critical.
Exactly. So, and because it's the same transport system, it's actually really steady. And I mean, when I just got the machine and we started calibrating it for the first time, I got in the help of Martijn the Dive, I believe. He had a studio in Kaitopia in Utrecht at the time. I believe he had an Otari or something, and we put the test tape on here, and we pressed play, and he's like, I've never heard a machine this steady in my life, you know. And yeah, then you basically have 16 channels 440 style, and that's it. It's of course no autolocator, no nothing, and
not necessary.
Not necessary, but It makes a lot of loud noise.
The maintenance of this incredible machine. You do it yourself?
Well, yeah, a lot of it I do, and if I don't, if I have trouble, then I call some techs or whatnot. But then usually you can see how basic it is. It's really simple to do repairs on this. It's laid out very well. Yes, I mean, look at this. I can go to Radio Rotor or shop here and get most of the parts I need if I ever need like parts. And then you see it's very easy to work on it. And I have a couple of spare cards. The thing that goes wrong mostly with vintage gear, obviously, is switches that need cleaning. Or contacts that are have gone dusty, or
so you need to take the switch apart and
exactly. Just the other day I redid all the lamps of the VU meters, and then when the channel is open, I re-clean the switches and everything, and then that's usually what does the trick most of the time.
Final part up to studio, the classic A80.
Yes, what can you say? It's a classic for a reason. I mean, every proper recording studio, especially in the analog time, or shall I say, the golden age of analog recording, had this one. And again, it's one of these purchases where my life has never been the same. It's just amazing. I got it in perfect state. It was completely redone. I really want this place to be a sort of time machine. Not even like a time machine. I want it to be the 70s, I want you to step in here and be like, okay, we're a band in the 70s and we're going to record an album. And that's just how it is.
I think you succeeded pretty damn well.
Thank you.
Guys, thank you for the hospitality once again. Is there anything left to say for the both of you?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for dropping by.
Yeah.
And it's really cool what you're doing. I would wish you all the luck, all the best for the future.
Thank you so much.
And yes, we will not leave you, have you leave empty-handed.
Oh, really?
So we would like to give you, this is our first record that we recorded completely analog here in the studio.
Really?
Yes, it's got 10 bands, 10 Dutch bands, and the whole album is made completely analog. Also, the cover art, and inside the picture, and it's all screen printed, and it's 1000% analog, as I like to put it.
Really, you make me a happy camper because this is one of those great presents that will definitely find a good place in my own studio.
Nice, great.
We want to spread the analog love, so
indeed. And this is one of the latest ones that we did. So this one was actually printed in Germany. Oh, it's a real fun story. But anyways, it's completely analog as well. So we're very curious what you think about the sound of these records.
I will
again. Thank you so much.
I've got a record player at home.
Nice. And as for the closing statement of today, I think we can safely say that
analog's the future.
The future
still is. To me, it still makes a difference, and I hope for the younger generation will also make a difference to visit the plate like this once in a while for doing a recording session. Even though you do a multi-track tape mastering, it will make a huge difference in the production.
Yeah, for sure. It's about the workflow and the gear, obviously, and where the two come together is where the magic appears.
To that. And that is what the show is all about. Make magic happen. Thank you for watching. I will see you up in the next one. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Ciao.